Stress, anxiety, I had a good day, I had a bad day, I'm eating. Depression, boredom, any type of emotional stuff going on. Certain medications will make you eat, okay? Hormones, more so in women, but it'll make them eat. Lack of sleep, too much sleep, marriage, relationships, children, grandchildren, too much money, not enough money. All those things will make you eat. Okay, mindless eating. So we go, I'm not a mindless eater. But you know what? We all are. I bought my grandkids, I got 4 grandkids, and they were a few months ago. Oh, it was about a year ago. They're coming over, they're going to sleep over Friday night. I'll go out and buy some string cheese and other stuff, right? Friday night, they come over. What do you got to eat? Oh, they're just checking the refrigerator. There's some string cheese, there's candy. Where's the string cheese? So, my wife doesn't eat string cheese. I ate string cheese during the week, okay, because I work out of the house. Didn't even know I was eating it. So not only did I not get to enjoy it, didn't even realize that's mindless eating. You just don't know why. You're just eating. And that's pretty common, okay? Why do people go on a diet? Fear. The doctor told me if I don't get on a diet and lose 50 pounds, I'm going to have diabetes. Okay, the problem with fear is once the fear's gone away, I'm off the diet. Okay, I got a reunion I'm going to go to. Got to lose 50 pounds before my reunion in 6 months. I have a wedding. I want to feel better, which is a good reason, but you have to stick with it. Feedback is always a good one. Somebody told me, you know what, you look pretty good. You lost 10 pounds. I didn't. I got a haircut, but it still felt good, so you continue on it. My clothes fit better. I got to buy new clothes. The internal thing, and that's the one. Internally, how can I internalize on a reason to continue with the diet? Okay, and I like it, and I'm happier, okay? None of those keep me on the program. And part of the reason is because it's a diet. Okay, diet is like running a marathon. When I'm done with the marathon, I'm done. I trained for 6 months because I'm going to run in July, and July, I'm done. I don't have to train anymore. I can start eating, I can quit running, I can stop swimming. I'm done. It's got to be something that you can maintain for the rest of your life. That's why I'm not a big fan of the fasting for a long period of time. I think that whatever diet somebody goes on, or whatever weight loss program they go on, it's got to be permanent. 45 million people go on a diet every year. And yet, obesity is rampant. 95% gain it back year one. 49.6% of the U.S. population is obese. 50% of us are obese. So these were the numbers we had up here before that we talked a little bit about, so I won't go through all those, but they're kind of scary. Overweight adults, 29%. Healthy adults, 31%. Morbidly obese, 6%. Obese adults, 35%. In each one of these, pretty scary, the numbers. What's the next generation? How they look? 13.7 million children are obese. Children. They don't get in the car, drive to the store, and buy candy. Somebody's bringing it home. Okay, and then it breaks it down into 18.5%. 2 to 5 are children, 13% of them. 18% are between 6 and 11, and 20% are between 12 and 19. So not only are we getting our kids fat, but let's get the pets in it. 31% of cats, because people don't take their cat for a walk. 20% of dogs. I didn't find anything that said how many birds are fat, but there's probably a lot of them. Okay, here's all the illnesses that these dogs are getting, and cats. Arthritis, liver disease, it's stuff that people get. So we've carried this into our pets. I think I showed you this. If your dog is fat, you need more exercise. Okay, and this is just kind of something I put in there, right? You only live once, Snoopy. Wrong. We only die once. We live every day. It's true, right? So the average person is bedridden for the last 2 years of their life. So what we do now is going to determine how we end the last 2 years. I don't want to be bedridden. Okay, if it's going to be, let's end it now, make it quick, life goes on, right? Because we all die eventually. I don't want to be bedridden for 2 years in diapers. It just, that's not for me. It's about a lifestyle. Okay, what's the problem with the, as we're talking about the diets, right? They're not sustainable, they're expensive. The only people that win from a diet are the companies that sell you the food, right? They put you on a program every month. Oh, the first month is free. You see it on TV every day. First month is free. And then after that, you're on a program of X amount a month, X amount a week, but it doesn't work. They're not balanced. People gain the weight back. Talked about a diet ends, right? Once that diet ends, people gain the weight back. It's not sustainable. You have to starve yourself on these diets. And the food companies lie, which is that slide. And we won't go into a lot of detail on it because we already talked about it. But let's talk about the other exercise equipment. Tons of people have exercise equipment in their basements that they use as hangers, unless it's in the bedroom, right? Because nobody uses them. Okay? But they're supposed to be great for you. First of all, the exercise equipment is between 15 and 25% wrong on the number of calories it tells you you burn. And it could be either way. Too many or not enough. Exercise trackers. Everybody's got one of those watches, right? I gotta have it, right? It's gonna help me lose weight. Average person gains 1.5, is it 1.5? Yeah, 1.5 pounds per year that has a tracker. Wait a minute, I bought it because I'm going to lose weight. I got to have it. How am I gaining weight? The reason they gain weight, I just burned 700 calories. Again, it's off 25%, but I burned 700 calories. Not only can I have that piece of cake, I can eat the whole cake. That's what I do. I'll eat the whole cake because I burned 700 calories. Sugar-free. We all think we can eat as much as we want sugar-free. Nobody pays attention to how much more fat is in it. Okay, what it does to our brain, messes up our brain big time. Artificial sweeteners are terrible for us. Fat-free, low-fat, plant-based. We talked about the yogurt. I showed you guys the slides on that. It's healthy. I can't tell you how many on the label. This is healthy for you. Cheerios are healthy. Doesn't matter how much sugar is in it. Okay, it's healthy for you. Why? Well, we don't know why, but it is. Kellogg's cornflakes with all the sugar on the flakes. It's healthy for you. Okay. It's good for your heart. It's not good for my heart. And of course, Starbucks. Coffee's great for you. It's only 1,200 calories. What's the difference? So we talked about these. There's no sense going into them again, but the bottom line is it's all about lies. You know, the calories, the fat, the serving size. You look at it. I looked at a bag of almonds, and it said, what did it say? I think it said 180 calories. It's with my granddaughter, and she plays softball. She's a pitcher, and she just got her weight down where she wants it to be, so she's real careful. She says, I'm going to have some almonds. I go, well, you know, there's kind of a lot of fat in there. There's a lot of high calories. She says, it's only 180 calories. I go, did you read the label? She goes, yeah, it says right here, 180 calories. I go, for how many servings? She goes, per serving. I go, well, how many are in that bag? 2. She didn't know that. Most people don't read the label. They see 180 calories. They don't realize that that's 2 or 3 servings that are in that bag. And next thing you know, you're gaining weight. Talked about the ground turkey, chicken, plant-based, amount of fat. Yogurt, we talked about the different types of yogurt with the amounts of fat and the protein. The fact that, I don't know how they do this. The more sugar they put in and the more fat they put in, the less protein is in there. I don't know how they reduce protein in yogurt, but they do. So I don't know why anybody would eat yogurt if it wasn't healthy and for the protein. Because some people just like the way it tastes. Like the last one tastes pretty good, right? I mean, it's got chocolate in it, and I don't know, it looks like it's got a Snicker bar in there. It's only 170 calories. So let's talk about what the problem is when you're going on a diet. Water, fat, lean tissue, right? That's the problem. Those are the things that we lose when we go on a diet. Okay, so you lose water in the body, which means you gain it back. You lose fat, you lose lean tissue, and you lose muscle. The problem is, well, let's just go to the slide. When you gain it back, so I lost 20 pounds, I lost 50 pounds, whatever I did, half of it was muscle. So when I gain that 20 pounds back, or 50, whatever it is, I gain everything back except the muscle. Because now I got to go lift weights and work out really hard to try to get 20 pounds back of muscle. Really hard to do. It's really hard to do under normal circumstances to build any muscle. So again, it comes back to the lie. You're not going to keep the weight off. So in 1960, the average woman's height, 5'3", 5'4". They went up an inch. Their waist only went up 12 inches. Their weight went up 30 pounds. It's only the bad part here, they only grew an inch. If they grew a foot, they'd be right on target. Okay, men only grew an inch. Waist only got 6 inches bigger. I say only. It's still pretty darn big. And they went up about 31 pounds. Hi. So again, still, if you look at it, that's why we've got the problem. We are growing huge. We need to stop that. And of course, nobody's stopping that. So let's talk about some of the health things. Abdominal obesity, fat or stomach, high blood sugar, hypertension, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. And I've got a coming slide will give you the definition of each one of these. 34 million people have diabetes. 34 million. 88 million are pre-diabetics. So you're pre-diabetic? Okay. We'll chat afterwards about this. Average person over 60 takes 5 medications. Average person, I already said this, is bedridden 2 years. The life expectancy is only 75 to 78. So I'm 70. That means I've got 5 years, or 8. Let's say I have 8. My son says I have my hair, so that means I probably have 8 years. I don't know what my hair has to do with the 8 years, but that means I have 8 years, which means I only have 6 left because 2 of them I'm going to be in bed. If I go by the average person. It's pretty bad. Average female, 80 to 83 is their life expectancy. Let's talk about where we're headed. Current generation of children are going to have a shorter lifespan because we're fatter. 1 in 3 children will have diabetes. Terrible. 1 in 4 Americans aged 17 to 24 are unfit for the military. Our police, firemen, and EMTs are 40% overweight or obese. We know that. All you got to do is go rob a bank and let the police chase you. They won't be able to chase you down because they're obese, they're out of shape. And that's only going to get worse as we lower the bar for people to come into the police department, to come into the fire department. So it's not going to get any better. So let's talk about some of the diseases that we've been kind of chatting about. Type 1 diabetes. Person has to take insulin for the rest of their life. Type 1 diabetes, typically you're born with it or you get it as a child and you don't get cured. Type 2. Okay, type 2 diabetics, if normally, okay, it's the body making insulin, right? Normally, if they exercise, take their medication, lose the weight, can be cured from type 2 diabetes. It's a progressive disease, gradually gets worse as the patient gets bigger and doesn't get better. So, is there a third? Is there a diabetes 3? Okay, so here's the bad part. Type 3 diabetes. There is a type 3 diabetes. People with type 2 diabetes are 61% more prone to get type 3. I said that wrong? Type 2 diabetics are 61% more prone to get type 3. I think I said that backwards. Type 3, Alzheimer's. Study done on aging found that being overweight or obese significantly reduces the blood flow to the brain. Okay? Since reduced blood flow in the brain or cerebral hypertrophy is an early mechanism in vascular dementia and Alzheimer's. That's pretty scary. Let alone the people that don't take their medication have issues with hands, feet, circulation. 44% of seniors have been diagnosed with at least one chronic health condition. Type 2 diabetes and hypertension are the most common. Okay, here's a scary one. So if I have diabetes, once I retire, it's going to cost me $9,600 a year out of pocket. Insurance will not cover my medical expenditures for diabetes. $9,600 a year. I could get a Ferrari. For every 1 pound, so here's something people complain about: knees. I've had 5 knee surgeries, so I get the knee thing. But for every 1 pound a person loses in weight, it's 7 pounds of pressure off their knees. So you get a lot of heavy people, oh, my knees, my hips. Lose 50 pounds. Well, I can't do that. My doctor wants me to get knee surgery. For what? You're going to need it again. Okay, I bought a Trek bike. And the guy I bought it was a used bike, and it was $2,500. The guy bought it, and he says, I don't like the bike, and it was too big for him. How much you want for it? He said, I'll take $500. But go pick it up, and he's got an $8,000 bike. The bike was beautiful. And it was so light you could just pick it up, and he's got, a $500 computer on it, and the pegs, and he says, yeah, I want to get lighter pegs. For what? He says, because there's a set that I can get for that's 1 pound. I said, well, I'll take the old ones then. So he gives me the old ones. I said, for 1 pound, if you lost 20 pounds, the guy's just a big guy. He needed to lose, I guarantee, 70, 80 pounds. I said, just lose a little bit of weight. Forget about, spending money on the pegs. But I took the pedals, and then he called. He wanted to go bike riding. I didn't want to go riding with him. And not that I'm that fast of a rider, but, I typically would be 22 miles an hour. Now, because I'm old and decrepit, as my wife would say, I'm only 15, 16 miles an hour. He tells me he was bragging about being 13 miles an hour. This is a couple of years ago. I want to ride with him. I don't like riding with my wife because she's slow. So if you're going to do work for your knees, you're going to do work for your hips, just lose weight. It's that simple. Not necessarily simple to lose the weight. Okay, metabolic syndrome is a combination of medical disorders. People talk about metabolic syndrome, and it's multiple things. It's not just one thing. Cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, blood, sugar issues, cholesterol, high blood pressure. Hyperlipidemia is fat in the blood. Triglycerides are a type of fat that the body makes. Hypertension, persistently elevated blood pressure. The higher the blood pressure, the harder the heart has to pump. And a lot of people have high blood pressure. BMI, I'm not a fan of it, but it's a body mass index. And you multiply it, divide it out, and no matter if you're thin, you're still going to show high on the thing. There's an easier way to do it, and I'll talk about it in a second. Carbohydrates, the body needs carbohydrates. BMR is closely related to resting metabolic rate. This is the amount of energy expended at rest in calories. That's what we talked about before. 2,000 calories. Okay, if I lay here and do nothing and watch TV all day and I weigh 200 pounds, 10% of my body would So 2,000 calories I would just burn just sitting here doing nothing. Insulin, hormone secreted by the pancreas, regulates the amount of sugar in the blood. Insulin resistant is when the cells and the muscles, fat, and liver don't respond. Protein is the blocks that the body needs. So if you think about protein, if you eat a lot of protein, you can gain weight from protein, but if you eat a higher amount, so I try to eat around 100 grams of protein a day because I work out quite a bit. Otherwise, you need about 40 to 60 if you don't work out a lot. And if you stay in that range, you'll see your hair grows faster, your fingernails grow faster because the body's getting the protein. So cholesterol, it's a waxy material. I like cheese, but I think of cheese and you melt it. That's what cholesterol looks like in your arteries. It's a waxy substance and it's not good. So HDL is good, LDL is bad. I always forget that, so I thought I'd put that up there so I can remember which one is which. Lean body mass is everything that's not fat. So that also includes the bones in your body. Okay, ketosis is the body burns fat, not muscle. So you can put yourself into ketosis, and some diets have you do that. The problem is you can't stay in it for very long, otherwise you'll pass out. So high blood pressure is a leading cause of heart disease. You can minimize it by doing the things that people don't want to do. Healthy weight, exercise, reduce salt. Eat more vegetables, fruits, high fiber, limit alcohol. And not everybody gets high blood pressure because they're doing all this wrong. Some of it's just hereditary. Your parents had it, their parents had it, it's hereditary, you're going to have it. Doesn't mean that you can't do these things. You may still have it, but you can certainly get it better under control. My parents had high blood pressure. I had a twin brother had high blood pressure. My parents' parents had high blood pressure. I take a half a blood pressure pill a day. I'm not even sure it does anything. It's 2.5 milligrams. They don't even make it that small, so I got to take one and actually cut it in half. But it is what it is. So talk about the different fibers. Insoluble fiber, we usually think of it as when we think about fiber or roughage, wheat bran, vegetables. Soluble fiber, it absorbs the water. So oatmeal, chia seeds. I don't know if anybody eats chia seeds, but if you take chia seeds and you put them in water and you sit them overnight, when you see them the next morning, they got a gel around them because they've absorbed the water. That's why they're healthy for you, right? So when you eat them, it fills up. So I already asked how many calories are in a pound. It's 3,500. So this kind of goes back. Instead of the BMI, people say, well, how should I know what I'm supposed to be at? It's pretty simple. You take your height, 72 inches. I'm 72 inches. Cut it in half. My waist should not be any bigger than 36. If my waist is bigger than a 36, I'm too fat. It's that simple. Forget about multiplying and dividing to get your BMI, and then because somebody's got more fat or more muscle, it doesn't. It's real simple. If your waist is bigger than half of your height, you're too fat. So I put this slide together that shows here's the cancers that people who smoke get. And here's the cancers that obese people get. The red ones are the ones that are in common. There's a lot of cancers in common from being obese or being a cigarette smoker. I don't know why, but I just find it kind of interesting. There's that many things and totally different illnesses. The illness of cancer is the same, but the fact that if I'm obese, I wind up with these, and I smoke, I wind up with these. And yet there's so many in common. Cancer scares me. So we talked a little bit about insulin. It has two roles. Stores fat, got to lower sugar. Why do we store fat? Bad eating habits, pancreas problems, lack of exercise. Sugar. Simple, sweet tasting, powder, candy, chocolate, cake, fruit. Complex. Not sweet tasting, breads, pasta, grains, potatoes. 4 grams of carbohydrates is equal to 1 teaspoon of sugar. So of course that leads into the daily sugar is 6 teaspoons or 25 grams a day is what a person's supposed to have, no more than that. The average American has 17 teaspoons or 71 grams a day. It's almost 3 times more than we're supposed to have. And we wonder why we have so much diabetes. So in 1905, the average American ate 5 pounds of sugar a year. What do you think it is now? Take a guess.
I'm coming to 100. Let's start the bar at 100.
Okay, so you think it's 100. Between 150 and 250 pounds a year. Again, we wonder why we have so many diabetics, right? I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't drink pop.
I was about to say, I'd say we'd start there.
Oh yeah, I don't know how many grams of sugar there is in a can of pop, but it's a lot.
And the fact that that's the most common sugar-based, regular, daily
Absolutely.
intake.
So let's talk about protein. To prevent muscle loss, protein, vitality, everything in our body needs some type of protein. Okay? Why protein? Protein is essential amino acids, high protein foods, here they are. Now that doesn't mean you can eat as much as you want of a high protein food. Some of them have a lot of calories. Amino acids are essential for survival, support hair, nail growth, muscle recovery, bone, tissue reproduction, overall health, well-being. Also helps with depression and anxiety. Calories in, calories out. That's the name of the game. So what I took a look at here was, that's what CICO is, calories in, calories out. If you weigh 200 pounds, just by sitting and doing nothing, you're going to burn 14,000 calories a week. Okay? If your goal is to get to 140 pounds, you're going to take in 9,800 calories a week. If you burn just 400 calories, that's another 2,800 you've burned off. So at the end of the week, just doing the right things, not even getting crazy, right? Not getting crazy about what you're eating, not getting crazy about your exercise. You'll burn 2 pounds a week doing absolutely what you're supposed to do and not getting crazy. Now, if you do more, that's where you can get into, losing 4 or 5 pounds a week. But it's got to be sustainable. There's no sense losing 5 pounds a week for 3 weeks and then you're going to gain it back and more after that because you go off the diet. Or I'll starve myself. I won't eat 2,000 or 1,400, 1,400 calories today. I'll only eat 1,000. But your body needed the 1,400. You're not doing yourself any good. Does that make sense? Okay. More of the numbers and the things, you're supposed to, I can't do this because I'd spend the whole day in the bathroom. You're supposed to take your weight, cut it in half, and that's the number of ounces of water you're supposed to drink. It's a lot of water, okay? But if you're working out and you're exercising, and coffee counts. Coffee does not dehydrate you unless you're drinking so much that you're getting all that caffeine. Otherwise, it's really not going to dehydrate you. We did 1 pound is 3,500 calories. How many calories should I eat? 10% of the goal weight. So if the goal is 160, 1,600. We already went through this a little bit. If you're 200 pounds, how often should I eat? 3 to 5 times a day, starting in the morning. Okay, but you got to end at a time so that you can fast for that 12, 15 hours. I don't eat, so I get up every morning at 5:12. I'm in the basement working out. I have an exercise room unless I'm going swimming. I don't eat until 7:30. So I'm in the basement, I'm working out. When I'm done, I take my shower. I got to play with my beard, and flat iron it, and all the other nonsense. And then I make myself some breakfast. So some people eat before they work out. I like to eat after I work out because then I'm burning more fat. Okay, because it's the weights and stuff. Do not eat a lot of calories at any one meal. So if you figure 400 calories a meal, don't eat 1,000 and say, well, you know what? This is what you do, and it works for you. But if you eat 1,000 calories, it's so many that your body can't burn it up. Okay, if you spread it out, and it makes you tired, right? You eat a big meal, you're always tired because your body can't burn it. If you spread it out through the day, you raise your metabolism, and you can spread it out, and just eat when you're hungry, or when you've spread that out. But you do not have to. It's not good to eat a lot of calories at one time. We kind of went through this that 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. 1 gram of sugar or carbohydrate is 4 calories. Read the label. So we kind of went through that earlier. We were doing that kind of stuff. So if you want to dance in the rain, life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. If you want to dance in the rain, you want to live life. You got to learn what the rules are for diet and exercise and live a healthy lifestyle. Hidden sugars. That's the other problem. They hide this stuff so we don't know what's in there. All these are different types of sugars. I don't even know what this is. Vanilla. I have no idea. If I saw that on the label, I'd go, it must be something healthy. I don't know what it is. No matter what you look at, any label has got some of this stuff hidden someplace, and it's not good for us. It's sugar. Now, some of it, a little bit of sugar is okay. This is crazy, and they hide it. Here's some more. High fructose corn syrup is in everything. Honey, malt syrup. I got that twice. Molasses, rice syrup, sugar beet syrup. Doesn't stop. Your body will always burn carbohydrates, glucose, and sugar first. Once the source of energy is used, the body turns to protein and fat. So you want to burn the protein and the fat, but you got to get rid of the fat. That's the key. By eating more protein and less sugar, you will maintain your muscle mass and burn stored fat for energy. That's exactly what we want to do. So more protein, less sugar, less fat. That doesn't mean you don't eat any sugar, and it doesn't mean you don't eat any fat. When I talk about sugar, it's sugar, carbohydrates. But you can't eat a lot of fat. Can't eat a lot of sugar. And you can't eat a ton of protein. You can eat some, but not a ton. So let's keep an eye on the goal. This is my baby picture when I was 2. It's a pretty scary picture. And it's not my baby picture, by the way. So what is the goal? Well, the goal is healthy heart. So hormones, vitamin, food optimization, physical exercise, spiritual or emotional optimization. That's the whole picture. Okay, so it's not just about food, exercise, diet. It's about having a healthy heart, a healthy lifestyle with all of those. We're talking about food, diet, calories. So I put this in here. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. That success can easily be failure. Failure is a sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Okay, 3,500 calories times 100 pounds is 350,000 calories. One failure doesn't get you 100 pounds weight gain. One success, one day, doesn't get you a loss of 100 calories. You have to do it every day, and if you fall off, you start again the next day. Key principles. Weight management is about improving your health and well-being, not simply about reading the numbers. Success is defined as a better quality of life, greater self-esteem, higher energies, or improved health. Weight gain is not a failure. Giving up is. It takes courage to go on a weight loss journey, but it takes determination and commitment to succeed. Mindful eating and exercise, not mindless. We talked about mindless. Nothing tastes better than skinny feels. That's the name of my next book that I'm coming out with. I should say that. We're doing a search to make sure somebody else hasn't already come out with that. I wrote a book a couple of years ago called Happy Ears. And it's a book for helping sales organizations. Salespeople always have happy ears. They hear what they want to hear, which is the deal's going to close next week. Even though I just told them I don't even have a budget until next year, it's going to close next week. So, and when I put that out there, I found out there's a couple other people that were actually thinking about it. So I got it registered before they did it. So we're checking that right now, but I kind of like that. So I put this in here so people understand. I haven't talked a lot about physical activity, but you need to. Physical activity and exercise can improve immediate long-term health benefits. Most importantly, regular activity can improve your quality of life. And here's some of the things that improves mood, sleep, energy, helps control weight, good for your muscles and your bones, good for your brain, enhances mobility, flexibility. And it could be any of these or anything else. Okay, swimming. I told you the reason swimming's so good is because it's 800 times denser than air. Go run in the pool. Swimming's like weightlifting. I swam a mile this morning. It's like weightlifting. So weightlifting is excellent. I work out on a heavy bag. Heavy bags are good. They're tough on the shoulders, but you don't have to kill yourself. It's just a different thing. So find something you like. Walking, great exercise. But it's about getting out, moving, okay, so that we don't get old. I would love to do that. I'd love to be at the top of that mountain. I don't know how to get down. Years ago, I trained to hike the Grand Canyon. Have any of you guys been at the Grand Canyon? Okay, so it's pretty far down. So I get there. I've trained. My wife thinks I'm an idiot. She may be right. And so I've trained for it. I got my stuff. She's going to take the donkey down. And I got my water, and I'm all good to go, right? I've trained for it. And I get there, a cop says it's $300. I said, so it's free to hike down there. What are you talking about? And he goes, it's $300 because that's what it's going to take to get you out of there. What are you talking? I was like, what are you talking about? I've trained for this. He goes, it's $125 down there. I didn't know that. So, of course, I didn't go because I was too cheap to spend the $300, right? But the fact is that it would be a pretty cool hike. Now, there is a hotel at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. It's a 2 to 3 year wait to get on the list. Because I probably would have gone down. If I could have stayed there that day, I would have done it. I would have met my wife down there. So it doesn't matter what the exercise is. Find something to like and do it. I'll be in the mountains in Arizona next week. I like hiking. I like, doing that kind of stuff. So that's why I put that slide in there. Why does it matter? It matters because if you don't take care of your body, you have no place else to live. That's it. We have to live in our bodies. So I don't know if you have any questions, but this is how I think. I think everybody should be who you are as long as you harm no one, including yourself. So that's my philosophical end.